About 5 minutes after I put the review up for Persona 5 Tactica, I discovered there was actually a full DLC. And by full DLC, I mean a bad story, $26 4-hour experience that I still actually would recommend. This is Persona 5 Tactica's DLC, Repaint Your Heart. Don't go away. So as per usual, my DLC reviews are a little different from my normal reviews. Normal reviews, I take a look at everything, the gameplay, presentation, overall opinion, and impact on me, and I give it a score out of 10. For DLCs, to me, the question is always, is it worth it? I've played the game, there's a DLC, is it worth it? Well, to start, it's $26 Canadian at least. That probably translates to $20 American, I would assume. So that's the entry point. And what are you getting here? Well, you're here for paint. And that is all you're here for, because the story is what I'm going to talk about first, and it's kind of ass. Now, Atlus does amazing jobs with their story, but no one would ever call an Atlus game short. Atlus's bread and butter is at the long game. Trying to cram a good story into a 4-hour DLC, which is, by the way, the length of this DLC, I just think you're not playing with your strong suit. And don't get me wrong, I don't think it's completely garbage. I just feel like there is so much NPC plot armor and very lucky things that happen that just so happen for plot reasons. But here's the story. Joker, Akechi, and Kasumi, yes, the two royal characters here, in real life are investigating this painting thing. They show up to this mural, and it's a Super Mario 64 style painting that sucks them into their world. In this world, this mouse-looking, dressed-up chick named Luca, by the way, horrible names for all of the new characters here. Luca comes running up, and it's like, you must save my sister. Her name is Guernica, another shitty name, and she's being controlled by this pink bird named Jerry. You see what I mean when I talk about how crap the names are? So this whole DLC, your objective is to find 3 slabs of a original mural that was blown apart of a building, and once you get all these 3 slabs back together, Guernica will return to normal and avoid the brainwashing. Now, I gotta be honest, nothing makes sense here. I'm not even gonna really go into it. I can go into how Luca can make symbols on the ground and can teleport giant slabs into the underworld. Who this bird thing is, I don't know, and you never will know.
You silly child.
So we'll never find out who she really was?
I am mad. This DLC is the definition of Atlus needed to print a DLC that had favorite characters like Akechi and Kasumi. So they were like, we only got 4 hours. We are going to try to do something here with the story, but we're going to need to bypass all sort of logic to make things happen. And one of the worst parts is right after you beat the DLC, everybody has amnesia. Nobody remembers it. So that's great. But let's return to paint, because that's what you're here for. What? All enemies standing on their own team's paint gain resistance, even outside of cover? That's kind of game-changing. Paint is the DLC's gameplay change-up, and it's really well done here. So in the main game, cover was extremely important, right? It doesn't matter where you are, as long as you're on some sort of wall cover, you can't be double tapped. Well, here, if you're on your own color paint, even if you're in a wide open field, if you stand on your paint, that counts as cover. So now, all of a sudden, the cover in this game has gone from walls and objects to the ground, and I mean, cover can be everywhere. Your cover, enemy cover, attacking an enemy, and this dramatically changes up gameplay and strategies. Since there are such gameplay things such as grates on the ground where paint actually won't sit, it'll sink to the bottom. There are paint barrels you can shoot and punch forward. And honestly, I had to change up my entire gameplay strategy from the main game. In the main game, my main objective was to get my characters across the entire map from each other, so when I do an all-out attack, I could cover like the whole map. The problem with that in the DLC though is, it's so incredibly important to double tap enemies in this game. The reason being is if an enemy is on his own paint, you can shoot him, right, which won't down him, but it'll still hit him and it'll drop paint, so now he's open for attack. So you need to follow up and double tap him. So my strategy in the DLC kind of turned into everyone group up and just bulldoze your way through the map. And I think this is really good, but there is one drawback. The drawback is it made the DLC very easy. And the number one reason why I was able to do this is because there is no incentive to do any sort of strategy here. In the main game, if you complete the level within a certain number of turns, you unlock bonuses. That doesn't exist in the DLC here. Whether you beat the level in 1 turn or turn 2000, you still get the same reward.
Go, get him!
Here I go. But nevertheless, I really like the paint mechanic here. Big gameplay modifier. And that's it. That's the DLC, guys. It's 4 hours. There is no fusion room. There is no shop to buy new weapons. The only way you get new weapons is Luca's like, I found this in the trash, and he'll like hand you a shotgun and a handgun and a laser gun. And I knew this was gonna go fast for the DLC when I beat the first 2 levels and I had like a level 50 persona. I will say you do have a full-blown skill tree. Joker's is essentially the same, but new skill trees for new characters here, Akechi and Kasumi. Both have full skill trees. Of course, you unlock points at an obscene rate. I did like 2 levels and I had like 225 points. 225 points? What the fuck? That is unheard of. That's like the whole skill tree. And I almost missed this in my review writing it out, but I gotta mention it just because it's so like you go into an Atlas game and you're like, yeah, it's gonna have great music. Sometimes I feel like I take that for granted because in the DLC here, you do have new songs and they do kind of kick ass. So to break this DLC down, $26 entry point for 4 hours. The story is good if you like Akechi and Yoshizawa, right? You get a lot of screen time for them, but thinking about the story on paper, logically, it'll fall apart immediately. Whoa, BBL! Gameplay changes and upgrades, fantastic. Anything else in that thing? Nothing at all worth it. And you might be thinking, wow, you've said a lot of, more negative things about this. You're probably not going to recommend it. Well, I think I still would. If it's on sale, I will say. That is how I got it. I got this for $8. If I paid $26 for this, I wouldn't. So if you're wondering, the Repaint Your Heart DLC, if you liked Persona 5 Tactica, the main game, should you buy the DLC Repaint Your Heart? I think it highly depends on if it's on a sale, so my overall conclusion here is, should you buy it? It depends. So that's it. There is Persona 5 dancing, the dancing game. So I'm not completely out of Persona 5 IP yet. Will I play that? Honestly, I have like 100 games ahead of it that I'd rather play. But you know what? One day I will be reviewing that on my channel. For now though, I'm your host, Beneath the Mask. I'll be this review. Peace out.
We promise we'll save them.
Huh?
Is she?
I know you're here to find out the Easter egg soundtrack that I put in at the end of every video, but did you know that I have a Buy Me a Coffee page? A page where you can donate to your favorite YouTube creator. Half of the money that's donated to that page is personally donated back to Child's Play Charity, a charity that's dedicated to supplying games and technology to children in hospitals around the world. So that's that. Did you guess the soundtrack?